morning, and I'm live. Good morning. It's April 1st. It's April 1st. I'm not a really big proponent of April Fool's Day, but I am a teacher, so I guess I'll have to be on my guard today. I didn't see my kids yet. They usually get up late and jump in the car and rush to school. So today is April 1st, and it's cold. I have my warm coat on again today. Yesterday, there was a lot of rain, and at least today I see the sun poking through the clouds, and we are on our way to school. It's time for school today. I hope that you are ready for your day. So today I am headed to school, regular day, regular schedule. I teach geometry, algebra 1, and 7th and 8th grade math. So it's the fourth quarter. We are on the home stretch. Next week we have our standardized testing week, which is usually a little different schedule and a little easier for preparations, but a little kink in the trying to get things done pattern that I've been on. So I kind of like the change in the week, but I'm always like, we don't have time for this. We got things to do. But it's a little bit of a different type of schedule. So I think the kids like the little bit of a variety. And so that's what's next week. And then the end of the month, we have 1 week of a break. Then we have May, and May is the last month of school. Our school ends the last day of May, I think, something like that. So we are on the home stretch. It's always a good feeling. Now, as far as being a teacher, I work at a Christian school, and this is my 4th year. And one of the greatest things that I like about this situation is that I have taught some of these kids math since they were, well, the 8th graders I've taught since 5th grade. So I've taught them all 4 years. The Algebra 1 students I've taught since they were in 6th grade. And I just love to think back to what we did when I first met them and to see what they're doing now. That's something that most teachers, well, you have the year to see the difference, but I have 4 years to see the difference. And it's really incredible to think back, wow, you're really doing this stuff. And just the growth that has happened in the student, in their academic world, and even, with their emotional and just their maturity level and all that. So I just really love being in a small school where you can teach kids more than 1 year. It's been really neat. Now, I was a homeschool mom. Of course, I taught some of my kids their whole life. And now I work at a Christian school about 40 minutes from my house. So my name is Cindy, and I am in New Hampshire, USA. I am a teacher, and I'm on my way to school. Thank you for coming to my channel. I appreciate it. And I started these morning chats to kind of share the weather to start with, and the beautiful, I think I started in the fall when I could share the foliage, and I just kept going. We shared the foliage, we shared the winter, the snow, the ice, and the rain. So now we're on to spring. Spring is coming. Yesterday, the clouds were so thick you couldn't see anything through the clouds, and today you can see a little bit of light through the clouds, which is nice. Lots of traffic this morning. I see lots of lights where this time of day, usually we're done with the headlights, but it's kind of cloudy and dark this morning. So we've got lights coming at us, and this road is pretty good. It doesn't really get jammed up too much. And we're on our way to school. So I was just talking about being in school where I have taught some kids since their fifth grade year, and I've taught there for 4 years. So this will be the end of my 4 years. So I see someone talking about a child in the hospital, so we will keep you in prayer. And yes, I'm a Christian and I do pray for people, so that's a blessing that we can have the Lord to pray to and ask Him to help us. I'm a mom and a grandma, and through the years, when I was a new mom, I had some kids that had to go to the hospital for pneumonia and situations like that. So it's kind of scary to see a little one that's not feeling well. So anyway, we're on our way to school, and like I said, this is the fourth quarter. And in the country today, there's a lot of discussion about the Department of Education. And I was just thinking of when I was a kid, my parents allowed me to go out of the public school and to go to a Christian high school myself. So I was in ninth grade when I was able to go to a Christian high school. And I figured this is going to be difficult, but I was ready for the challenge, and I don't regret it one bit. It was an amazing school. We studied hard. I took, obviously I took English every year. We did grammar. We did amazing classes on literature. I took math classes that were excellent. We also had French at our school, so I was able to take French for 2 years. And we worked very hard. We also had a lot of fun. I joined the sports teams because at a small school, it didn't matter how good you were. You're on the team. They beg you to be on the team. And we played other Christian schools. And we always prayed before we did our game. And we always tried to have a good attitude while we played the game. And that was important to us, just as important as winning. We also had a choir there. We sang every single day, first thing in the morning. It was one of my favorite parts of the school. I sang in the choir for 4 years, and every year you would work really hard. We did programs throughout the year. We also practiced for our spring travel. We would travel for 1 whole week in the spring, and we would travel to different churches, and we would sing and present our program. We also did that several weekends during the year. The choir was an amazing experience. I loved it. We had a great time, and it was the highlight of my life in high school. We did a lot of fun things too. We had student council. We set up activities. We had fundraisers. Me and my friends started a school newspaper. That was pretty cool. We enjoyed that. We ended up spending weekends just typing to get that newspaper done. And I learned that when you start something like that, not everybody who wants their name recognized wants to actually do work. So, my friend and I, we wanted this newspaper to be successful, so we got people to agree to certain topics Excuse me. And then if they didn't show up with an article, we would type it and put their name on it because we didn't want people to think that we typed the entire newspaper and did everything ourselves. We had the greatest time. We would type for the weekend, but we would also laugh our heads off while we were doing it. We had a great time. And high school was just such a wonderful time. It was a small Christian school in the mountains of New Hampshire, and the school is still there today. And it's too bad that the federal government or maybe the local government couldn't go and visit places like this that are successful and figure out what they do to be a success. And, we did it on a budget. We were always, scraping together another dime to keep going. We didn't have the most gorgeous facilities. We just had what worked. The school itself was property donated, and it was originally a farm. So the girls' dorm, because we did stay there during the week, the girls' dorm was built into the horse barn. The classroom building was the actual dairy farm, and there were originally cows there, pigs, and all types of animals, and they renovated it and made it into an auditorium with classrooms. And they always said that the library was the hayloft. The library, that was kind of cool. That was like an attic area. You could go in there, and there were some little closets that you could go in with a desk, and you could study quietly in there, or you could study at tables. It was really awesome. Now, fast forward to now, there are graduates from that school that donate willingly because they had such a wonderful experience. So when they first started, they had to prove, we can do this. This is our dream. This is our vision. This is what we want to do. And when I went there, it had been in existence like 15, 16 years, something like that. And then, through the years, they've graduated a lot of students. And since then, a lot of the students have gone on to do well financially, and they help to support the school. So now you've got people giving money out of thanks and gratitude. And that's how school should be. They should have graduates that are so thankful that they want to help the ministry to continue. And those are some really successful ideas for school. We had kids come with special needs, but you know what? We just said, we'll help you, but you're going to have to do what everybody else does. And sometimes that might be offensive nowadays because, we're not used to that terminology. We think that we should make concessions for all the special needs people. But the problem is when you go out into the world and you work somewhere, they're not going to say, oh, are you special needs? How can we accommodate you? They're going to be like, if you can't do the job, you'll have to go find a job somewhere else. So I think we need to prepare everyone for the world that they're going to face. And I really appreciated my 4 years of high school education. I think it was a perfect example of success in education. It's a small ministry, not huge, and there weren't a lot. There was a principal, there was a vice principal, but they did a lot of the administrating, but they also did a lot of the counseling, helping students. We also believed in a biblical worldview, so we could help students see, why we do certain things a certain way. We also had jobs on the campus, so I lived there for 2 years, and then my dad moved us to the close to the school so that I could be a town student. But during your time in the dorm, everybody had a job. Like you had to clean your room plus another room in the building. So that made it that the maintenance person didn't have all the cleaning to do. The maintenance person could stick to fixing things. And that kept, they always told us that kept the cost down. The students also worked in the kitchen, and we did not get paid for it. Those were just our chores and our jobs. Everybody had at least one dorm job and one campus job. And my job was to wash all the silverware after supper. So I washed the silverware. A friend of mine did the dishes, and I sang soprano and she sang alto. So every night at supper, we would sing hymns. Imagine that. We sang lots of hymns, and we would sing, and then within the kitchen, we could all sing at the same time. Usually the boys did pots and pans. And so they would sing the tenor and the bass, and all the girls would sing the soprano and alto, and we would just enjoy it, right? We just enjoyed it, did our work, and we were done. It was probably a half hour after dinner, and it was a great time. You didn't dread your chores. You said, here we go, you know? My other chore I remember I did a lot was the living room. We had a big living room in the girls' dorm, and I remember vacuuming that. That would take 15, 20 minutes. Then we did white glove. I think at least 3 times a year we did white glove, where we had to stay the weekend, and we got to wear jeans. This is a Christian school, so the girls wore dresses, and then after school we usually wore dress pants. We weren't really allowed to wear jeans. So white glove weekend, we got to wear jeans. So we put on our jeans and we had to white glove our room and one other room or location. So I did my room, and I remember I did the bathroom a couple times. So that's getting down on your knees, scrubbing everything, starting from the back to the front. And we had to white glove everything. So that happened at the, I don't know, mid-year, and then middle of the second semester and the end of the year. End of the year, obviously, it was easier because we got rid of all of our stuff. But it was a great time, great example of a successful school, and we did it all on a budget. Now, our school never really got a gym. I don't think they even have a gym now. They rent a gym in town to do their sports. They didn't have a field that was really regulation when I was there for soccer, but we used a field that had kind of a hill on it. And then when we had our games, we used a local town hill, soccer field. And I don't know, they probably paid money to do that. I'm not sure. But we never really, they do have a field now, which the alumni helped make happen. So that is accessible. But they have housing for some of the staff and faculty that live right there at the school. So I'm sure that helps with, the amount that their staff gets paid. It's all probably, I'm thinking, tax deductible or tax exempt. And so that's what kind of made it happen, because people could live there and not have to be paid a ton of money. And their housing was inexpensive, and they didn't have to drive far. So even though you had a car, you could preserve it. Like right now, I have to put miles on my car every day. So it's part of the cost of having this job. There are places that are being successful in training children now. Did they train me to be wealthy? I've never really been very wealthy as far as financial but I feel like I learned what I needed to learn. I did what I wanted to do, and I am thankful for the life that I've had. So, although is the goal to teach students to be rich? I don't think so as a Christian. I think if you're a good worker, that God will bless you because that's how it all works together. Um, but being rich shouldn't really be your goal necessarily. Um, and that is also an evaluation. I know the public school is doing portrait of a student. You know, what kind of student do we want to see when this kid leaves our school? What do we want to see in this person? And I think as a Christian, you want to see good character, hard worker. They've learned the base knowledge of the things that they need to get going in the world. And if they want to go to college, they're ready for college. And we also had really excellent Bible classes. My first year at the school, we did a survey of the New Testament. We did complete New Testament survey. My 10th grade year, we did, no, actually, I did it opposite, but most 10th graders did Old Testament survey in 10th grade. And then 11th grade, they did Bible doctrines all year. And then 12th grade was about, I can't remember what they actually called it, but you would do a big paper called The Inspiration of the Bible. And we also talked about different cults, like cult. We studied different cults and characteristics. We did a paper on different cults. And so I remember that for my senior year. And everything was with biblical training. We had to learn verses every single week. And so we were well equipped to with knowledge of the Bible. It wasn't just living out the Bible, it was actually knowing it, knowing the Bible verses, reading your Bible. We had Bible reading schedule we had to follow, and we really got grounded in the Bible. And I would think when you're in high school, you're going to learn the Bible principles, but you don't know everything about how it applies until you get into real life. So those years were extremely formative, and I'm really thankful for the time that I had. And I do feel like that it was a great example of what a high school could be, should be, can be. And I feel like the public schools, they're just too large. We try to put too many kids in one building, and we think that all these kids are going to sit in a classroom and, all they're going to do is listen. But kids need a smaller group. They need more attention, even as teenagers, and they need more guidance. They need more adult interaction than what we're showing in the public schools right now. What we're doing right now isn't working for the most part. So we can keep throwing money at it, keep pretending that we keep giving money to it and making better buildings, and this will all of a sudden one day we'll wake up and everything will be better. But it's not going to happen. So I'm on my way to a school. My kids, I have two kids that go there. One is going to graduate in May, and it's been a journey. The last two kids, they've been in school since they were kindergarten and first grade, and it's definitely been a journey. This is the third school that I've taught at, all the different schools I've taught. so that they could go to school. We did 1 year homeschool, 2020 to 2021. They weren't really that excited about it. They wanted to go back to school. They like having other students to hang out with and stuff and to get to know. And that is, that is a good part of school, to make friends. And that's a good part of going to a good school where they can find some good friends. And so that's that. Well, thank you so much for coming to this video. Let me know, are you a teacher? Where do you live? I'm in New Hampshire, and we have someone who is stopped on the side of the road with no room. Maybe they have a kid in the car. They have to help. So anyway, I'm headed to school. I'm almost there. And I appreciate you coming to this video. Let me know where you're from. Please post below the video. And let me know who you are. I'd really like to know who's watching, and if you're a teacher, maybe you have kids, maybe you don't. Just let me know. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.